Hi. Good lighting, I was saying to Siobhan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I see the light. We are on. We are live. Welcome to the Attitude Shifts. Hoping to shift your attitude this Wednesday night. I'm Donna M. Butler, along with the lady in blue. I think you have on blue this time. I messed up last week. I said red. You corrected me and said pink. You have on blue, right? Matching those baby blues. Hi, Siobhan. How are you, darling?
I'm great. I do. I have blue. I actually haven't changed since I started working. Can you turn your television down?
That's people talking, man. That's like a house full of people, man.
You have a house full of people? Okay.
It's nothing but a bunch of people trying to get
That's
in the
like
Corvette.
interference on our show. So it's like the audience is talking. So, how are you tonight?
Cool.
You're in your new house.
I am. A lot of work. Tired. I keep going because I want to be all the way in by the weekend. With everything is in, everything is done except the last room, mine. So once I have.
What's special about yours? What will be special about your own room?
That I can see the floor.
Why do we leave the most important room to the last?
because we have positive, great attitudes, and we let other people go first sometimes. The attitude of sharing, pulling somebody up, pulling somebody up.
Which is exactly our show tonight, the pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, or having the bootstrapping attitude, which a lot of entrepreneurs have. And if you're not entrepreneurial minded, you might actually think that that's whacked. That is right out to lunch. Like those people that are bootstrapping, are not calling the Dragon's Den or the Shark Tank, they're nuts. Because obviously you need to go to the experts, the venture capitalists, or as we call them, the vulture capitalists. You need to give your product away. You need to have experts come in and build your business. But you know what? Some of the most successful businesses were built without the help of venture capital.
Absolutely.
And they were built on the backs of strong men and women with strong and very positive attitudes, and attitudes that really people couldn't shake.
Yeah.
They couldn't shake them up.
That's so funny, Siobhan, because yesterday afternoon we had a conversation. It's so funny because we did not talk about this, so this is really great. We talked about the good old days. We talked about how, like when I moved into this neighborhood, we knew a lot of people already. We knew a few people, but no one really said anything. How you really know your neighbors. My sister lives here. We know, some pretty friendly other people, but there was not any friendly welcome to the neighborhood kind of bringing you some cookies kind of thing. You know what I mean? And we started talking about that. We started talking about the good old days, just like what you're saying, pulling each other up by their bootstraps, doing things, helping each other unload the truck when it pulls up, and you see this one guy unloading stuff by himself with a bunch of kids, even little tiny kids, helping. And that's funny that you say that, because I think we've forgotten that our country was built on things like that. This earth, period, goes round and round by things like that.
Well, absolutely, because all the things that you use today were invented by somebody, and it wasn't invented by a corporation. It was invented by a person. There was either one person or a team of people, but it came out of their brains. Like the corporation just didn't come up with it, and that's not how, the radio was invented, or the light bulb was invented, or electricity was discovered, or even the theory of relativity. It was not discovered by a corporation. It was discovered by one person, a brain, somebody with a mind that was willing to push the limits.
And someone that had the courage to step out.
And everything we use today, we need to thank those people that were bootstrapping. And because most bootstrappers and most inventors are not people other people believe until they're already there. And then sometimes it's how that it switches, and all of a sudden everybody wants on the bandwagon. right?
Well, sometimes people think they're crazy.
The party started, so they went on the bandwagon. But when they're
Absolutely.
setting up, they don't want anything to do with the hard work.
They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to. It's a children's fable. It's called The Little Red Hen. And in that fable, that little story, the little red hen, she's going to cook. And she goes and she asks the cat, you know, can you help me? Can you donate? Cat's like, no. You know, everyone says no. And in the end, she makes this like amazing, you know, bread, and everyone's standing there for a piece. And she's like, you didn't help me. You didn't help me. You didn't help me. You know, but you want some. And so it's exactly like that. You know, they want in when it's all done. But you know from what we're doing right now, even what we're doing, you know, we know that there are certain doors that probably could be opened for us, you know, by people we even know.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that lack of bootstrapping attitude, they're not willing to do that because they don't see what's in it for me.
Yeah, and I think that you've hit the nail on the head. It's what's in it for me? What do I get from it? And is it an immediate gratification? Because if I give you money or I get involved in what you're doing, what am I going to get right away? Because I really need something right now. Because I'm really important. You know, I'm a big thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had to choke on that one because that hit real close. You know, right, and it is that. That's such an attitude, you know, that you have that I can't give you what you need until I get mine, but I got to get it first. You know, I got to get it first. I got to get it from you first before I can let you make it, you know, happen. And I think that stifles so many good ideas, so many wonderful ideas that people may have, that because they can't get that one click of the door open, or because they don't have the courage, to pull up that strap, those bootstraps, and just walk right into it, push send, pick up the phone, dial the number, you know, get in the car, drive to it.
So how many of those guys that were in the garage with Bill Gates of Microsoft when he was coming up with the idea, and they all kind of gave him as, you know, $100, right? I don't know how much money those initial people gave him, right? But I think he writes about it in one of his books. And those people today are multimillionaires. They're billionaires today because they had the courage to join the bootstrapper, to get involved in what that person was doing, and to believe in them. And it really probably wasn't a stretch for them. No. You know, a lot of people have a lot of extra disposable cash, and it's not a problem if you are willing to invest it in the stock market. You know, I really do think that you should be investing it in the ones that are showing that they're able to keep going, that they are bootstrappers, that they have the ideas and they have everything, and what the only thing that they're lacking is money. But if you find somebody who is still going with their idea, you better take a second look at that person, because they're the ones that are going to, they'll find a way.
And I love how you say that. That is the thing. If you see someone still doing it, and I'm going to go there because that's in our lane, us.
It's true.
Us.
We just, you know, I got a LinkedIn saying people were congratulating me on my work anniversary, and I was like, well, I don't really work much, but
no, you're right though.
But they meant this. This is our work anniversary.
This is a sure thing, unless active nature or one of us loses our voice and drops off the planet. This is a sure thing on Wednesday. You know, like I said, borrowing the technical or whatever, and it's a sure thing, and it's almost like gambling. And I think a lot of people don't remember that a lot of bootstrapping came from people gambling. And I don't mean going out and rolling the roulette and everything. I mean gambling with their life savings on something, investing their time, their effort into an idea. You know, and they're taking a gamble with it, because if it doesn't work, what do? You know, that's an attitude in itself. If it doesn't work after 7 years, if it doesn't work after 8 years, what does a bootstrapper do? You know, do the boots stay strapped and laced up, or you loosen them up a bit and maybe turn another direction. You know, those are things that if you're taking this word and really digging some layers up, I mean, you can really, you know, that can possibly be done.
When I read about bootstrapping, the foundation of bootstrapping, I guess, what's it called? The derivation of bootstrapping, where it all began was they were talking about there was this idea that somebody could pull themselves over the fence by their bootstraps. But I can't even, and they say you can't actually do that. But what I see is when on a pair of boots, like the ones you put on the Attitude Shift Facebook page, there's that little strap. And I imagine myself pulling myself up to take another step. Like I can take that loop and pull on it and lift my leg to take another step. I call that bootstrapping.
I do too.
I can see that. It's very visual for me. Okay, so I might not be able to like get myself over a fence with my bootstraps because I wasn't quite sure what they were talking about with that. Because I don't go around wearing cowboy boots and hanging out on ranches a whole lot.
I pull mine every day, my bootstrap.
But when you put your boots on, you pull that bootstrap, and when I can imagine myself if I needed to take a step, like if my legs weren't working, I could move my leg by pulling my bootstrap.
Right. And so that is, and it does help. It is, it does help to know that you have that control, that you have that power. That's within you. No one else, think about, just like you said, we're both visual people. So we're both standing here in our boots. And we can't go any further. There's no one that can come and make those bootstraps go. That's up to us. They can't position themselves to grab those straps like you or I can wearing the boots. So it's kind of like what we should look at with our attitudes towards it. That it's our attitude. And if we're at a dead still, non-growing, non-productive spot, in our lives, maybe we ought to grab those bootstraps. And see, even the dog concurred.
I said she would bark. That's why I put her out.
But she agreed. She said yes. Yeah, but I'm serious though. That's part of what we should look at. We talk about taking the steering wheel and driving in our lane. Go one step further. Look at your boots. What kind of journey are they on? And do you need a tug every now and then on your bootstrap? I know I do.
Absolutely, and somebody who's a bootstrapper has this unyielding nature. It's in them to keep going, to keep trying, to keep pushing, and you know what? Those people are actually living their dreams. They haven't settled for mediocre. They haven't settled for safe. They're trying to bring something amazing to the world, something amazing to their life, and they will continue. And I think that till their last breath, they will continue. And those are the people that you need to pay attention to, and you need to focus your energy on, because they're the ones who will help you get out of your little safe environment and maybe make millions of dollars like all the guys at Microsoft did one,
And not worry if the show is being done on the toilet or not.
Oh yeah, tell me about that, because that was just crazy, because we've been asked to, I still haven't done it. I'll have to do it maybe Saturday. We've been asked by a guest of ours to actually take a reference to sitting on the toilet in one of our shows, because a network is wanting to use that for some reason. And we actually don't have many details on this, but the thing is seriously, I can't say I'm sitting on the toilet. That's against network rules.
I found
but you can show booty and boobs and more things.
I didn't get it either. I really didn't. But that's what it was. I made a reference. We were they said it was a lovely backdrop. And I guess they would have preferred that it stayed as a backdrop.
Well, they never saw you sitting on the toilet. You actually,
No.
where are you supposed to sit when you're in the bathroom doing the show?
Yeah. No. I mean, no, they never. I mean, I looked at that show, and after, our guest asked, for it, I looked at it because I wanted to see. I couldn't even remember what I said. I remember the show really well, but I couldn't really remember when I said that. So it was really interesting when I did say it. It's quite obvious that I'm doing this show, from the toilet, because I make reference to the shower curtain behind me. So, like today, I'm doing the show from the couch.
But whose toilet?
Right.
Actually,
right. I'm doing it from the couch.
If you're sitting on the toilet, the shower curtain isn't usually right behind you if you're sitting square on the toilet in most bathrooms.
Sideways.
So network people, hello.
And think about it, you probably never heard that before, and you probably should have put that out there. But it goes back to that bootstrapping, I told you prior to getting on the show that, there's an attitude sometimes of someone wanting to bootstrap you and lift you up only to knock you back down. Because it was pretty exciting, because when our guest called and started telling us, that they were getting feedback from a network, I was happy for them. And then when she mentioned the show and that they thought our interview was really good, and, I was like, well, cool. And then it was like, chop, 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 but they want to take out a reference you made. And I was like, oh,
Well,
okay.
I guess we will never get our show, because here's the idea for the first show I have always had is
yes, I know what you're going to say.
The camera is going to come looking for us when, they go, this is the Attitude Shift, and here are your hosts, Siobhan Shaw and Donna Butler, and all of a sudden, like, we're not there. And they have to come looking for us. And it's because we're still in the bathroom and I'm sitting on the can. And you're having a bath. And you're like, got the cucumbers in your eyes and your hair all wrapped up.
Because that's pretty much how it works in real life.
Oops.
Yeah.
You mean that was like 7:30 p.m. Pacific time?
That's how it works in real life. And that's just it. People use the bathroom. People sit on the toilet. That's what they're there for.
Well, it's interesting because our fans and our friends actually got into that conversation. And as you're talking now, I just started to remember that they said things about that. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find it. Did you see that meme by our fan club president that said shine can never replace attitude?
Absolutely. Yeah. Michael K. He's always on point with us.
Well, so I think that, where is that post? Oh, that's too bad. Oh, yes. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, the women got into it. It's hilarious. So I said, I am up early trying to edit the word toilet out of an episode we did for the Attitude Shift. So a network, yes, a TV network, is able to use part of this show for something. I said, really? The toilet part isn't the worst of the things we've said on the show. So obviously not a network with a sense of humor. Keep on shifting. So all kinds of people got involved with that. And somebody was like, right off the top, what's wrong with toilet? I didn't know that was a bleepable word. And then I tried to explain that it was, you were on a toilet. And then Paula says, well, it's usually the quietest, sanest place in a house full of kids. And guess what? Donna's reality show, Living a Via Loca, is about her house full of kids. So, of course, she's going to go try to find the quietest spot, and it happens to be her bathroom. So, I mean, everybody kind of got into that. I mean, we've talked about worse. We've talked about worse. People started giving us names for what the bathroom should be called or the toilet should be called, like privy, or porcelain throne for the queen, or the loo, or honey bucket.
Right, and that's just it, Siobhan. I think that's, maybe we're not prime for time, whatever, right for prime time right now.
Probably not.
I don't know. I just think that when we start nitpicking things like that,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying for her because she's great. I love her dearly. But for, a network to nitpick or things like that, it makes me wonder what they're doing with our pitches.
Well, well, I think our pitches must be shocking them to all get out because
Well,
they
don't get me
couldn't.
started.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've
Don't
kind
do
of
it.
like
Yeah.
done this bootstrapping thing. If you know a bootstrapper, help them pull up their bootstraps. Because they're very dedicated to their life, to their best life, and it's not an easy road. It's not a safe road, and it's certainly not a smooth road. But those are the people that will create things in your world for you to use and you to benefit from. So
yeah,
please,
absolutely.
pull up bootstrappers, help them pull up their bootstraps, and pull up your own, because if you've got an idea that you've been sitting on, perhaps it's time to do something
let
about
it go.
Yeah, make something of it. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to get to attitudes in the news before we put the show in park, the virtual red Corvette in park, Donna.
Absolutely.
Today in Canada, the headline was "Canada is under attack." That was a bit shocking, as I am Canadian. I live in Canada. And although, I love my American friends and I would live in the United States in a nanosecond if I could, all the time. You guys are just so amazing. But we've just joined the war against ISIS, and we've sent soldiers over just a week or so ago. And we're allies of the United States and always will be. I think since 1812. When we beat you.
A little history lesson. A little history lesson.
So now we're all friendly.
Oh, I can just see the comments on this tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. So here's the thing. A Canadian soldier was shot in the back by a Muslim radical.
Right.
He was a radicalized Muslim, and it's nothing against the Muslim religion or Muslim people. There are fundamentalists in every religion and every culture,
right.
And we just happen to be facing the threat of ISIS and these people that want the whole world to be living under the Islamic rule as they know it, as they see it. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty nasty. I mean, it's not the way I want to live, and I can tell you I'll be standing up and fighting that. And I think that there's just so many layers to it. But anyway, today a Canadian soldier was shot in the back. He probably didn't even see it coming, by this young man. And in the Canadian Parliament building, so it was very much like your Congress, where you got your House of Representatives are.
Right.
So and the Prime Minister was there, which is like it's like the President of the United States, Prime Minister of Canada. He was there nearby, and so there was all kinds of it was all kinds of just action around that. It was basically a terror attack in Canada, and that was the headline. Canada was under attack. Attitudes around that are amazing.
They are amazing. They really are. And it's something like you and I talked prior to coming on the air. It just shows that it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's hard for me because how do you explain? And my children, are just getting over this thing with everything in the news about Ebola. And, ISIS, Ebola, ISIS, and then this. And, my younger daughter knows that's where you live. And that's one thing. Isn't that where Siobhan lives? When they talked about it on the news, isn't that where Siobhan lives? It's so close. It's like at our doorstep. It's closer to me now than it is when it was over there, overseas. You're not overseas. You're not overseas. So that's what worries me.
North America is like an island to itself, right? I mean, the fact that we actually even border Mexico and there's a strip of land down to South America if you just think about North America, so Canada and the United States, we're on an island. You can only get to us by flying in or coming in on a boat. You know, it's supposedly very secure, but what's happened is that they've gone after people, and cults do this, right? So they go after people that are susceptible, that are lost in their lives, and they are able to bring them over to their side. And so that's what they're doing. And, you know, remember that show we talked about where I love the actor on that show, but they were killing people with knives all the time. And I was just like, it's got to stop. That's because people, and then it started to see it in the news that people were being attacked by knives. And it's the same kind of thing. You know, that was a cult leader, you know, encouraging all these people to go out and kill people with knives, and it's the same kind of thing. It's really kind of a brainwash, right? But we've got to deal with it because we can't be politically correct about it, because they're not. It's not like two countries getting together to fight.
That's a good way of putting it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no.
I know, I do.
No prisoner of war treaties or anything like that. There's no battleship like rules for the game or anything like that. These people don't have any rules.
They absolutely do not, and that's what makes it a little unsettling. I mean, it's not. It's spreading. It's getting around. We're now going to look over our shoulders. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've heard of people that usually go to the South right now. They go to Arizona, the snowbirds. I've heard of of some that are not going because they may be attacked by ISIS in the United States. After today, all bets are off. So
it changed.
They're staying home or not.
Today was a game changer.
It was a game changer because Canada, we're sort of all known as the peacekeepers of the world.
That's right. That's right.
If you want to travel in the world, put a Canadian flag on your backpack. You'll be safe. Not anymore.
And we just talked about, remember,
and
I like how you put, when we were talking amongst us as pitch partners, you talked about what we said in one of our pitches. You know, when's the last time someone, and I'm not making light of this by no stretch of the imagination, but we said, like, okay, Siobhan, when was the last time something really happened in Canada?
And I was like, like mass shooting, like, happens like every decade or so.
That's what you said. That's exactly what you said. It's part of our pitch. And it's, ironic. Look what happened. Something, and on the grand scope of, that it is. And it is. It's not something small. This isn't small.
Well, and the thing is this week also, two Canadian soldiers were targeted, and they were victims of a car. Like somebody ran over them. Right. Can't even talk. We do the show too late.
Well, we better back it up next week at 9.
You gotta
9 p.m. Central Time. 9 p.m. Central Time. The attitude shift will be that.
Anyway, I've got an attitude. There's an attitude shift for ISIS and all the followers. What? My father was a soldier in the Second World War, and all those people before us, my grandfather, and all, Canadians and Americans, we're not Canadians and Americans because we settle, that we give up. We won't be intimidated, like our Prime Minister said. We just won't be intimidated. Just, we'll talk about it because we want to figure out what to do about it.
And that's the way.
And, I saw a report that the Chinese government was lining up Islam radicals and actually executing them.
Yes.
And they said, well, that'll never happen in Canada or the United States because we're so politically correct.
Right. We try. We try to do it by,
of course
we have our way. Right. But, I'm beginning to wonder with this. We've seen beheadings. We've seen some pretty horrible things going on.
But if they think that it's going to affect their governments and the way our governments function,
absolutely not.
So security is going to be tighter.
That's all.
So, maybe some of our freedoms will be curtailed. They already have been. But we're okay with that.
Absolutely. because that's what we do. You know, it's just like anything else. It's that what we do.
We
And
will
to
fight. We will fight, and we
that's
will
it.
survive. Well, you're not going to come in and tell me that, you know, I've got to get down on my hands and knees and kiss your feet, or you know, whatever it is they do to women. They treat women so badly that I have to, you know. I don't even want to go there because I wouldn't be very good at it.
I know I would not be good at that. I would be one of the first to go, I'm sure.
Yeah, we wouldn't make it too far.
No, we
so so that was it. Canada Under Attack is a huge
That's huge.
And, you know what I thought was so cool tonight, and I put it on my Facebook page, is I was watching the beginning of the Philadelphia Pittsburgh hockey game. Now those are two American teams, right? Yeah. And they were singing the Canadian anthem in respect
that was really cool.
for today's attack. And I thought that was really cool. But what's even cooler is our pitch partner and friend, Titanium Link, Tara Kennedy Klein. I love her. She says, she sang along like a true Canadian. She was in a restaurant, and while she was holding her beer like a chalice, the owner stared at me. I was like I was a psycho. She was singing the Canadian national anthem. And then he realized what I was doing and came over to join me. Oh, Canada. So
we love Tara Kennedy Klein. Love her to death.
Tara Kennedy Klein. And there she
can make a smile out of everything. And that's her great attitude she has. That's that shifting attitude.
Well, she did say, and I put it in on one of our pitch videos, sort of the footage. It never made it to the network, but it actually made it to her birthday reel. She did say, you know, about politics. She said, we all really need to be a little bit more Canadian.
Yeah.
So I call her Miss, we all need to be a little bit more Canadian.
Yes, we do. I can second that with her. Let's just try to see if we can just leave this earth in at least a decent state. You know? I'm sorry, I just had to throw that out there like that. But, you know, it's just sad. It's, like I said, another sad day. You know, it's kind of getting to the point where you come to the television with heavy heart. You know, we have it at our fingertips now. You know, we talked about that once before on the show. We have it at our fingertips. As quick as it happens, we get it on our phones. As quick as it happens, it flashes across the screen. So it was a big shock today, you know, to see that. And I just hope that there's some resolve, and I hope, you know, some kind of way ISIS is going to get, you know, iced.
You know, that this too shall pass. I suppose that if the westernized world, which doesn't mean the West alone, but the westernized world, the civilization that we live in, the culture that we live in, I think if all the countries band together and some very smart decisions are made,
I agree.
You know, we may be able to, I know we will be able to put ISIS in their place. I just kind of wish we could all go right now and handle them.
Handle some business.
Yeah, handle some business, dude. Slap them upside the face. I don't know, you know.
Kick rocks, everything else.
The thing is this man today, it shows me what a coward he is, because he shot the soldier in the back.
Yeah, you're right, Siobhan.
You know.
Yeah. With that one, you know, I agree. That's what I think for me was, out of all of that, you know, you're doing your beheading and all that, and now you want to catch a young soldier with his back turned.
And he's just doing his business. He's, you know,
with his back
family.
turned.
If you see the picture of him.
I did.
He's got his dog behind him. It's just, it's sad, but it's also just he's representative of all the people that will take a bullet for our safety and security.
That's right. And you know, we have to stop to think about that. You have to be, to me, when you're doing this job, I don't care, you know, the news focuses on all the bad. You know, we see all the bad cops, we see all the bad, you know, firemen. We have a case here in Louisiana right now. a veteran fire chief, charged with molestation and things. Fine, we see all that. The news is going to point that out like a big blemish on your face. But what about the good ones? What about the ones that leave their families, their wives, their children, excuse me, their dogs to go out and protect us, and then they don't come back?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We should look at that. And every day be grateful. Every day be grateful that there's another, hero born.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
out there doing that.
And on that note, it is time to put the virtual red Corvette in park. So the attitude shifts down a few gears until next week. And we will have a guest next week. One of our favorite guests is going to be on. We can't tell you who he is yet because I haven't told him what date he's coming on, so it might not be next week.
I'm so excited.
So, and we have a couple of weeks where we actually have guests coming
because we know you guys are getting a little tired. No, you're not. We know you love us. But, yeah, we're trying to bring some people on and let them shift attitudes with us. Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Is that early enough for you? 9 p.m. Central Time. We'll be back next week, hopefully with a guest. If not, you'll get to see us, our faces in the place, as we cover the red Corvette for tonight, that virtual red Corvette that has taken us on for 5 years. Best Corvette ever, huh, Siobhan? Best Corvette ever. That's a plug for a Corvette under the tree for Christmas. In the meantime, like us on Facebook, The Attitude Shift. Follow Siobhan Shaw on her page, Donna M. Butler on my page, and see what we have cooking during the week. Until we meet again, peace out.